don't stick around for too long. Don't. And we will talk about it why. And certainly don't leave your life so your CV will be happy. Because actually, nobody cares about your CV. And I could give you millions of examples, but this video is not about that. But trust me when I say nobody cares about your CV. Plus, you can write on that piece of paper whatever you want. At the end of the day, people will hire you based on the interview. So the CV is good to get an interview. So make it in a way that you get an interview. Then you have to sell yourself. You need to have the skill when you enter the workforce to prove your worth. And that's it. That's there is to it. But what we want to talk about today is not to stick around for too long in any employment, in any organization, in any industry even, because you are not doing yourself a favor, especially in a job market where skills and everything is changing so fast. But even if the skills are the same, a stagnant workforce is just not a good one. And in this video, I would like to talk to the individuals. So why it's not benefiting you staying around for too long. And also to organizations, because this KPI, this turnover KPI is driving me crazy and is holding everybody hostage. And in fact, big companies, large companies, Google, IBM and all that, if you pay attention, they never talk about turnover rate. And when we know that even the average length of service for Google, Facebook, and all Silicon Valley companies are 1.2 years, 1.5. And yet they are not the ones who are crying about turnover rate. They always talk about performance management, because they get the best out of you the moment you enter the door. And those who are crying about or talking about how to retain employees are all the mediocre and the low performing or low capability organizations, people with low capabilities and competency. So it's so interesting to see. And if you really want to be a high performing organization, you never focus on the turnover rate. You focus on performance and you will focus on skills. How can I get the best out of you while you are with me? And that's what should both parties do. This is what should both parties do. Employees, how can I get the best out of this situation while I'm with this company in terms of money, in terms of knowledge, in terms of learning, in terms of promotion, development, etc. And companies should do the same. It's a transaction, it's a monetary transaction. I give you my skill, my time. You take it, we both benefit, and that's it. So let's talk about that, because the narrative that is going around is so painful. And I have written many articles about this KPI holding everybody hostage, companies, because when you focus on that, you literally make the wrong moves, companies. But for the individuals, I have seen Jesus, and the more I look into this topic in terms of performance, the more I realize that we should turn people around quickly, and we should not have managers 10 years in that role. It's just not a healthy relationship. It's not a healthy, because most of the time, existing knowledge is what comes in between progress and the future. Because these people will tell you, no, you cannot do anything. There are two type of people in organization and in life. The one who always come up with why you cannot do that, and then you have the ones that they come up with how we can do that. And long-term employees or people with long service tenure, they always the one who will say, you can't do that because of that. And we should get rid of those very quickly if they are wrong. I'm not talking about if they are right, because knowledge is good, but we also have to look at it. And I have made a video on it. How long is too long to stay? I will link it at the end. There I explain how to analyze that situation, because not every long service employee is a bad employee. That's not what I'm saying. But In most cases, these are very unhealthy. And at the end of the video, I'm going to tell you a formula that maybe you can use to think and rethink the way you calculate your turnover rate, the ideal one, because I have no bloody idea where companies got these ideal turnover rates from. That doesn't exist. And maybe with this formula, you can come to a relatively good plan, and you will see that this is already happening. And stop fighting, put your energy somewhere else. So let's come to the employees. Why it is not good for you to stay for a long time. I stayed in the hotel industry for 19 years. I have no regret in terms of, because I moved countries, I moved departments, I moved operation, corporates. I have done bloody everything from being a waitress all the way to head of department, L&D, operation. I mean, I have done everything, but I regret staying in the same industry for so long. But we cannot go back, and there's no point of regrets in life. They gave me everything I am today, and I'm very grateful. But it did hurt my career. I'm not going to lie. And that's the first point. So I have written an article. I'm going to link it or put the link to this article below. You can read it and have all that information. And it can hurt your career by slowing your growth or keeping you on a predefined path. For years, I've been told you should be this, you should be a general manager, and once they put you in this box, there is no way for you to come out. And that's what I hear from employees, 10 years in this position, even 5 years in this position. They decided what you are good for, and they can't even see you in another way or in another position or in another department, and they just tell you, and if you don't want to go down that path, they're going to block you. This is how it is, unfortunately. So it's up to you. Remember, your growth, your development is yours. So it's going to slow down your career growth. And once again, they already have an idea about you and you can't shake it. It's always the best to move and show somewhere else, because there you can present yourself in a very different way. And that's the rest to it. It can keep you miserable under false belief because of this seniority. I talked to many of the general managers in the hotel industry. They've been there for so many years, 10, 40, 20, doing the same job day in and out, just reading basically the same book for 20 years, 40 years. It's terrible. And they always said, oh, I don't want to leave because here I have seniority. I always said, what seniority? Tomorrow we fire you exactly the same way as we fire someone who's been with us for 2 years. We treat everybody the same way. There is no seniority. And I can show you plenty of examples when that happens. So people don't learn. This is very nice and sweet and good for the soul. I belong to you. I made this company. No, absolutely not. You're going to compromise yourself. Your salary growth will be slow. And I have written an article about that or even the video in here I made, that employees are winning the turnover rate because they are hopping and they are increasing their salary, and we have very clear data on that. So why should I be sticking around when I can hop around and then get my money? Especially when my mindset is that everything is about money when it comes to work. It's a monetary transaction. A lot of people view work like that is just a means to an end to make money. It's a tool to finance your life. And if that's what I want, I will be hopping around very easily, right? So we also need to keep an eye and understand this mindset as an employer, as an HR or business leader, that people want money. And they will be not scared of moving around. We have millions of data proving that. Yet we are still, no, they need to stay. We're going to provide them with development opportunities. Dude, I want money. I don't want the training. So that's that. That's how they respond. Your knowledge, skills, and ways of thinking will be stagnant. And this is what I see. Oh my God, it's just so devastating for me, who is an intellectual, who I'm always open to new ideas, even if I disagree with them. Like, give me new information, new ideas, show me new things, trigger my curiosity. And these people, they will have such a their knowledge and skills, they plateau when you are in the same environment, right? You might feel like that you are learning, and you will be learning, right? But you are also maybe just adapting. Not learning, just adapting to the new manager, the new situation, the new system. But is it really learning? You need to ask yourself that question. So I never advise that. And you know what? I can see that with long tenure employees, their skill set, their mindset, their knowledge is so behind. I'm like, oh my God. And then when you bring in fresh blood to change the organization, these new people, all they spend their time with trying to convince these old people there, not old by age, but being there, that, hey, this is the new ways of doing. And all you get paid for is to fight. No, this is the new, no, this is, and that's what companies are paying for. Is this what you want and happy to pay your money for? Keep doing it. But people with old skill set are the most harmful to organizations, and I'll come back to this in a minute. And the last one for employees, you will develop a tunnel vision. It is a very familiar, comfortable environment, right? It becomes your world. You stop seeing other possibilities outside. You become those that type of person who says, these are the reasons we cannot do that. Okay, tell me the reasons why we could do that, or how we could do that, because that's a much more interesting environment, right? So when you have this tunnel vision, is basically you don't see anything else. And it's a painful exercise for anybody who's trying to come and change things. And it's just, plus, probably that's why you are still there, because nobody hired you, because your skill set is way behind what we need. Your knowledge is way behind. And you are talking about the old school ways of doing things. And that's why you are still in that job, because when you are going for an interview, this is what you talk about when the world has already moved on. Okay? But you don't see it because you are in this bubble where you feel very comfortable. But here is a question to organizational leaders. Those people who seek comfort, so they stay in their role, they seek comfort, they enjoy that no changing environment. Are they the one who are going to change organizations? They can't even transform their own roles and the systems that they are working with, because what they say is, no, we can't do this because of ABC. They have not been exposed to information. They have not been exposed to different ways of thinking, doing, etc., etc. So you are never going to change anything with this type of people. And it's just about skill set. It's not just about knowledge. So I look at that and that's that. But that also compromises employees. And that's why you maybe can't find a job. And the reason you are in your role, because nobody else wants you. And now I come to the organization. Do you really want to have people sticking around because nobody else wants them? That's terrible, right? And my first thing for organization each time when I talk to them, that I bet that long-term employees who stay for the wrong reasons are costing us more than high turnover ever did. Money is in the skill set of someone. Money is in the knowledge of someone, in their expertise. And when we don't have that, it's costing us money. And as simple as that. When you hire someone, you buy the knowledge, the expertise, and the skill set. You're not buying the person, buy in the sense that you hire someone and pay them, right? That's what I meant. When you hire someone, you hire and pay them for that. That's what you are buying. And you're buying the wrong thing. You're paying for the wrong thing. You are paying for a subscription that doesn't make any sense, or something that makes no sense. So for employers, the problems are inbred competence. Oh my God, this is real. I have seen it Whenever you rely too heavily on long tenured employees without injecting new talent, ideas, skills, you maintain the status quo. But once again, if these guys are pushing back and the new ones are trying to push a new agenda, all you are paying for now is their fight. And that's a waste of money and a waste of energy. So I have done 3 acquisitions, which was a painful exercise because we couldn't fire everyone. But we have done many rebranding in hotels, and which is just one deflag, rebrand, one hotel. Every single time we opted for firing everybody from that place and bringing our new people because we did not want to spend the time and energy convincing these guys that this is the new ways of doing. It's speed, it's fast. I need the skill and the understanding and being on board today, not in the next year. And in this article, I started this article that I spoke to 4 CEOs and they don't mind firing people with the wrong skills, even if it costs them more in terms of hiring, the recruitment and all that, because they want the skills and the knowledge and the expertise that makes them money and move the company forward today, not with retraining and reskilling. So that's going as well. So this idea of we pump billions into trainings, that's also moving away. So inbred competence, it kills innovation, agility, and the ability to pivot. And, you know, you're going to have to understand that. You might be rewarding the wrong thing. Loyalty often becomes the default value when employees' actual contribution is hard to measure. And I always said that. We are so bad at knowing what do you expect from me? What is my performance? What does my performance look like on the daily basis, weekly basis? We don't know. We have goals, KPIs, which is fantastic. That's the performance measurement. But we don't actually know what it looks like on a day-to-day basis. And most companies, even their goal setting is just a shambolic exercise, which I wouldn't even spend 2 seconds on it, but hey, we do that. But when we don't know what performance look like, we start rewarding tenure. Oh, Sylvia's been with us for 10 years. What has Sylvia done? Is she moving the company forward? Does she have the skills that I want? Is her skill set, knowledge, expertise aligned with the future of the organization? We don't know. We are just happy and clapping around that Sylvia has been here for 25 years. Maybe Sylvia is as useless as, I don't know what. You fill the gap. But we are very happy that she's here because she's contributing to our KPI. But we are paying her for absolutely nothing. She's a waste of energy, air, and money and time. But we are happy to have her here. So we need to rethink that. What is it that we actually value? Is it loyalty or is it skill set that makes money for us? Now, I'm not saying that the two can't go together, right? But it's a very rare. And once again, I will link that video at the end of this. It's extremely rare where people can produce and perform over a long period of time. And once again, they are not sticking around out of loyalty. So once again, we misunderstand this memo as well. They are not sticking around because they are loyal. They are sticking around because nobody else wants them. So, and the last one is, which my bread and butter, I'm in talent management. You are blocking your talent pipeline and bleeding money. The biggest problem in organizations that these people are sitting in their roles. Move! And I'm going to talk about how we can look at it in a minute, how we can look at it differently. High turnover isn't always a problem. It can be a gift because if it creates space for new knowledge, it creates space for new processes, it creates space for new expertise, new ways of doing things. But if you keep the organization with these people blocking the talent pipeline, when you have these old people, old sometimes by age, and sometimes through tenure, sitting in these roles, and all of the young, fresh talent with great idea, fantastic skills, knowing the new market, the new systems, they have everything we would need to take the company forward, but we can't because this guy is sitting in here. So we are losing these. So remove that one person. You are playing chess, and when you are playing chess, you have to be strategic. And when you are playing chess, sometimes you sacrifice a few to open up the opportunity for the win in the future. Okay? My grandfather taught me how to play chess when I was 4 years old, sitting next to his feet on the floor while he was watching TV, and just as a side game, he kept me entertained. Child abuse, but hey, no. But that's how it is. So don't be afraid of that. But once again, if their long tenure employee is useful for the organization, updated with skills, knowledge, what we need, and has also the skills and the knowledge for the future, and is not blocking progress, keep them, work with them. I'm not saying to fire everybody, right? Now, how we can, I will link this article below, so in the comment field, so you can read it. I elaborate a little bit more on that in the article, but the message is here. How we can maybe calculate or look at ideal turnover rate, because I don't know where we get these ideal turnover rates. Should be 20%, 25%, 30%. Who says who? Like literally says who? So this is how I like to look at things. Line level employees, and I always said to my employees when I manage them, after 1 year, I start having the conversation with them. What do you want? What is your plan? Is it different department? Is it going up? Is it going sideways? Is it moving to a different industry? Moving to a different role, job because you hate this? Tell me, what do you want? Because at 1.5 year, entry-level roles should move on. If you are keeping these entry-level roles 5, 6, 7 years in their position, oh my God, you are hurting the company. And you are also hurting yourself as an employee. Nobody will look at your CV. You're stuck in there. We don't want you. Your skill set, knowledge, everything is just so behind. Then supervisors, I would say 1.5, 2 years, move on. You have learned, you are operationally great, you started learning some leadership skill, how to manage people, how to direct, how to talk to them, how to train them. Fantastic. Move on and build on it, okay? You're not going to master it in here. It's going to be a continuous process. Line managers, operational, mid-managers, I would say also 2 to 3 years. Move on. Go and get something else, different field, something different, industry, or going up. Then you have head of departments, for example. Even there, 3 to 4 years, I always got bored after 2.5 years. I'm like, okay, I've done everything in here. I don't want to do it. Then you have the senior leaders. I would say senior leaders, C-suite, around 3 to 5 years. 5 years, I would say, right? 4 or 5 years, because you don't want to make a massive change in the C-suite and above, because these are the guys who are setting the vision and the direction for all of us. So if that is changing constantly, the whole organization is just stagnate. It's going to become stagnant, because all we are doing is regroup, recalibrate, what are we doing, and then go again, which is time and all that. So you don't want to make a lot of change over there. And CEOs, if you talk to the most fantastic CEOs, they acknowledge the fact that 5-7 years and they should be out. And that's it. In very rare cases, you have the CEO stays there forever, but that's very rare. Once again, I talked about it in the other video. I'm going to link it. So based on that, you should calculate your ideal turnover rate. You take your line level employees, you calculate, that's the tenure, 1.5 years. What would be your turnover in terms of percentage? Then you do with the supervisors 2 years. Line mid-manager 2.5, 3 years, whatever you set. And based on that, you will come up with a massive high turnover rate. And that's the reality. That's the ideal, and you should not fight for it, because the moment you fight, this is when you start hurting the organization. And as an employee, if you stick around for too long, you become unemployable. And that's just that. That's just that. It's very difficult. You can talk to anybody. It's very difficult for them to find another alternative, another job, another industry, because you will be boxed. You will be boxed into this, oh, you are a hotelier, you are this, you are that, and that's it. People will always put you in a box, no matter what you do, but that's your job to, limit that possibility or to get out of it, and that's it. When I left the hotel industry, I said, maybe I will go back to work at some point. Actually, I like working for others. But I said I didn't know what I wanted to do, or what industry, or what's the direction. But my picture was very clear, or the goal. I will never work in the hotel industry ever again. Now, that's a very bold claim, right? Because you really never know. I would work for one CEO, hotel CEO, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. So, but that's it, nobody else. So, but that was my goal. And I've done works for 2.5 years to take me out of that situation or that environment, allowing other people to see me that I'm not a hotelier, and then taking up a role that is not in the hotel industry. And that's it. That was the journey. It took me 2.5 years for people to look at me that, oh, she's not a hotelier. Thank you very much. No, I'm not. I am, but you know what I mean? You can use me in any other industry, because it's the skill set, my knowledge, my expertise that we should be talking about, not necessarily the industry that I come from. So don't betray yourself by sticking around for too long, and certainly don't live your life, in your professional life, so that your CV is liked by others. Now, you remember, you can write anything on that piece of paper, but nobody cares. But I have heard that so many times, people starting the position, oh, I hate it here, literally crying in the toilet after 1 month. Oh, I hate it here, but I need to stay here for 1 year at least for my CV. And I always looked at these people, I'm like, are you crazy? Like, are you actually inflicting pain on yourself so you can write something on a piece of paper? I never really am. I rather lie, and I hate lying. I would rather come up with some story for my CV. But, I will not go through that kind of pain. Like, that makes no sense. What you want is work. What you want is money. There you go and do it, and you don't have to justify everything. Oh, let me tell you a story, and I'm going to close this video. It's too long. In terms of interviewing, so because I've done a video on interview, old school interview questions and all that, and we really need to let go of those ones. The past 2 months, I interviewed quite a few people, and some of them with 2 years gap on their CV, some of them with no gap, diverse range of CVs. And I forced myself. It wasn't easy, I'm not going to say. At the end, it was easy, like it disappeared from my mind. But I forced myself not to ask, why do you want to leave your current employer? And why is the gap on your CV? And I was like, Sylvia, it's not relevant to the job you are hiring for. And I did it. And I was so proud of myself because it really is not relevant. So don't ask those stupid questions, so people don't have to lie on their CVs. You want honesty? So you need to work around that. I hope this helped, and do not be held hostage by these KPI organizations, and employees, don't make yourself unemployable by sticking around too long. Do a fantastic job while you are there, but think big, think a bigger picture. How is that going to impact me in the future? Because if you don't take action today, if you don't think strategically, and you don't have a goal, you will find yourself in a stupid clerk entry-level job 10 years later still adjusting Excel sheets while the whole world and everybody around you has moved around. You don't want that. And companies, you don't want employees like that. They are hurting you. They might be nice, people are doing the job, yeah, but that person, you can hire somebody better because there's always better. So turn people around. Turnover is not bad. You are not ready for that turnover. You don't understand turnover. Plus, you are not measuring the contribution of employees. So all you can focus on is the KPI and how much it costs to hire people. Figure out how much it costs, the value that they bring, even if they stay with you for 6 months. So you don't have to focus on how much it costs to hire them. I hope that helped.